Hello, everybody. I am so excited because I am here with the Monsieur de Bonheur, Mr. I think that's so funny.
And when you saw that, you glitched on my screen and you froze. You just froze.
The French internet said, how dare you say the Monsieur de Bonheur. It's been so long since I've spoken French. Husky, I'm very excited to do this with you. How are you?
Well, I'm very good. Thank you. And you, Marco?
I'm very good, thank you. Imagine if I said I'm terrible and then this whole video was just me.
Okay, get up. Oh man, good. I'm really amazed that you speak French because I'm born with it, so I'm lucky because it's a really difficult language overall.
Yeah.
Learning French for a foreigner is fucking hard. I'm always impressed when someone speaks French to me.
I think for me, it's because I speak Italian, so like it was a natural. But also, I was forced. I mean, you have to remember that my last gig was in Limoges, Rossi, and Massi. So I was forced, literally, like in Limoges. This is a tangent. Don't skip. You have to watch this history. I was forced because no one in Limoges. You know what is there? The porcelain museum. There's nothing. There's nothing in Limoges. No offense. If you're watching this from Limoges, merci beaucoup. It's tough. I mean, even going to the supermarket, it's like, you know, what's a courgette? You know what I mean? So like you had these little things, and I only ate chicken wings literally every single day. I ate chicken wings, the grignote, at the little mom and pop shop at the corner with the pomme de terre and the haricot vert every single day.
Can't go wrong with French food anyway.
Anyway, we're not here for this.
Too bad.
So we're here to talk about video game music. And of course, if you don't know Husky has an incredible aptitude for all the different types of guitars and is a fantastic arranger and composer. And he does a ton of covers for all sorts of games. But I would say, what you say your main bread and butter would be the Final Fantasy series?
I'm mainly known for my SF14 covers.
Right.
But I do a lot of stuff. I cover a lot of games, and I'm a composer as well. These last 2 years, I started to write original music for streamers and video game developers. And right now, I am working on my full video game soundtrack for the first time in synthwave, and I'm very excited. Yeah, I'm learning a lot of stuff right now.
Synthwave, I feel like it's getting a resurgence, but for good reason. I mean, it's like such a... What an amazing sense of like power that comes from synth music, you know? It's like so satisfying to listen to. So we're going to share a bunch of tracks together. Maybe we've heard them, maybe we haven't. What is first on your list?
I have Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories track called Lord of the Castle. It's the final boss. It is my favorite song from the series. There are several versions because the game has been released on Game Boy Advance first. Then it had a kind of remake on PS3. And this track has been rearranged later in Kingdom Hearts 3. But it sounds vastly different. So we're going to listen to the remake on PS3 version.
That's a nice theme. Why do you love that piece so much?
A lot of details. First, I'm very sensitive to beautiful melodies in general. Here we have a lot of Yoko Shimomura signature chops, like the piano, on the piano, the she does this a lot in her music in general. The combination of the melodies, the chord progressions, and the fast arpeggios on piano during the verse and the chorus with the fast arpeggios on the harp as well, blended with the strings and the choir. I prefer this version to the Kingdom Hearts 3 rearranged track because I think, to me, it has more soul, even if the Kingdom Hearts 3 version has more professional and modern sounding orchestra, better articulations, stuff like that. It's something I love with old school game music. When composers had to work with technical limitations, they had to be really creative, and we can see that with the Super Nintendo music in general, PS1 and PS2 as well.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I mean, one of the things, and I never heard that. In fact, I played up to Hollow Bastion in Kingdom Hearts, but I don't remember any music. So I started replaying it when their Steam release came out, and I got to Traverse Town. What a nice theme, actually. And I'm sort of slowly been digesting Kingdom Hearts. And what I really admire about this sound is there's still this essence of like this childlike innocence that kind of weirdly comes through. And I can't tell if it's because I sort of know like the like beats of the story after so many years, but I agree with you. The piano arpeggiation, as a sucker for piano, like one of my favorite CDs was a Final Fantasy IX, and I know you love Final Fantasy IX like I do, but Final Fantasy IX piano arrangements, the piano arrangements of Final Fantasy IX, I listen to these like all the time. And so whenever I hear piano in a piece, I'm immediately tuned in. But you're right about the beautiful melody, because here we actually get like 3 or 4 that somehow are like intertwined. And I loved especially the that was really satisfying. And even though it was like, I guess, like a quintessential boss theme in that it was like constantly in a fast rhythm, it still felt like it had room for emotional and melodic melody,
Yeah, it's a really fast-paced track because of the arpeggios, and yet it's really spacey, really ethereal, I'd say, maybe.
Yeah, I heard that too. It's cool. I thank you so much for sharing that with me, because if there's one series I feel like that I really have, it's like one of these, like, I've never played it, so it's like all like kind of pure listening, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of it because of the mouse, and I don't want to play it. I do more on the channel, but I'm afraid.
No, the thing is now to play from Kingdom Hearts 1 to 3, you actually have to play like 10 games maybe, because all of the spin-offs they released made the story progress, and they are almost all relevant.
Are they all good though?
No, but the worst one appeared in the compilation they released as a cutscene compilation.
Oh,
so it's basically when I say the worst ones, I'm saying gameplay wise, because there was a mobile game recorded and a DS game which was good, but they also chose to make a cinematic version only.
Okay, so it's like approachable. Well, maybe I just need to like suck it up and like commit 200 hours and then be done. I can say it.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the game Ultrakill?
No.
Perfect. This track is absolutely mind blowing to me, and it's called Tenebre, Rosso, Sangue, and it appears in a in like not the main game itself, but in like you have to like get a perfect score. It's a boomer shooter, and you play a robot that goes into hell, and it's set on vengeance to essentially like you have to fight Gabriel the Archangel and stuff.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
Yeah, I feel like.
Oh yeah, I love it. Oh, so many things to say. It's brutal. They blended metal with church, with I'd say maybe dark synth. Near the end, when the bass comes back with wow, it's crazy. I mean, it's 4 minutes of madness.
Yeah, for 1,000,000%.
Yes, the melody goes crazy. The arpeggio are on fire. The sound is good. I really like how the instrument sound in that track. And what's the context for this song? Is it a boss feed?
I actually haven't experienced the context in game, but okay. I have played the game. But essentially, this is in like a side level. So once you get like a S tier on every track, then you're able to unlock the P level. And
okay.
I don't even honestly, I'm not good enough to get there. But
okay, I see.
So I've never seen it in game, but like it's not actually a boss theme. It even says everybody's gangsta until they realize this isn't even the boss theme of the level.
Yeah, I see. So it's the crazy music for the crazy.
Yeah, for the special secret level. There is that certain visceralness about it, and what I really like about it is that essentially, and I play this for a lot of like music professionals that are not into video games, but you've got the video game element, then you've got the classical music element with the Buxtehude sort of Bach style organ playing. Then you obviously have the metal aspect, and then you have like what I would essentially like prescribe as like rage or this type of vengeance that the sound. It's very visceral. What else do you think?
I was surprised by the first slowdown. I was like, oh, okay, a bridge is coming, and no, it just slaps on my face right after that. I did not expect that at all, and this track is really full of surprises.
Yeah,
and
it's a great one.
It just smashes your head constantly, and when you think you will rest, you will not.
Yeah.
So I can imagine brutality of the levels behind this music. So the next song is from Megaman Battle Network 5. It is basically a unique approach to RPG with Mega Man. Basically, you fight on a grid. You choose your cards every like 10 seconds to use powers against enemies. And while your gauge refills to choose your next card, you can shoot at them. Because it's Mega Man, so Mega Man Battle Network 5 added a new mechanic unique to this game. It's a liberation mission. Basically, it's a mini strategy game within the game. This is the music for the liberation missions.
Man, I love that. What I love about it is that the melody's like, it hits you right in the face, right? There's like no like skipping around. I love that. I also love that because of, well, I was going to say the limitations of the hardware, but still the sort of like the sound quality representing that. It's amazing how things that were out in like the 90s, like melody was like the only real, I mean, obviously we get all sorts of different spectrums, right? But like melody was like front and center. And I love that. I mean, wow, what a fun melody. Da, 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 da. And the thing is, like, you listen to that 4 times and you instantly, like, it's right here, right?
Yeah.
And the earworm concept is something that I've been really thinking about in my own, like, sort of like, as I sort of like uncover and analyze with the way that composers write and stuff, I can't help but be like, okay, what makes an earworm versus just a melodic piece? Because there's plenty of melody. We need melody. But an earworm is like, it's so interesting. I love that. I also love the counter melody that you hear in the back half of it, so that when that sort of like thematic sound comes back, it's not boring regardless, but it adds an extra layer to it where if you're really paying attention, you hear the counter melody. I actually want to play this.
Most of the Megaman Battle Network music is exactly like this. There were 3 different composers for the series. The track was composed by Akari Kaida. It's a bit like, as I said before, with the technical limitations, because of the hardware limitations here, the GBA sound font is very unique. A detail I love that the composers all did with Megaman Battle Network music is that you have a very fast arpeggio going on the left, and a few milliseconds later, the same melody goes to the right, and it goes back and forth. And in this example, it's like at the very beginning of the song, you have like, and it goes directly on the other side. This is why I never sing in my videos, by the way. And it's a clever move, I think. And we have actually a lot of instruments here. We have bass, we have this smelly arpeggios, we have a lot of subtle percussion, tons of instruments for the counter melody, as you said.
It's really cool. And I just love that, like, if we look at how music affects emotion, what we end up getting is a piece that is full frontal, like about like plowing forward and like taking charge and like, you know, putting yourself in the line of fire and like, but doing it with like enthusiasm and with heroicism. But it's not like in your face, like Hollywood heroicism. You can really allow yourself to feel like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like the sense of real enthusiasm through music, which is absolutely awesome. Oh, yeah. Have you ever heard of the game? I'm going to stay in this realm. I wasn't sure if I was going to play this for you, but since you just gave me this, I'm going to keep it there. You ever heard of the game Everhood?
No.
So Everhood is a rhythm game. But it's not like your typical like hit the button at the right time type rhythm game. It's a game where you're actively avoiding rhythm. Oh. So you're the character in the middle and the enemy attacks are coming towards you like in turn-based combat, but you're dodging their hits. In this particular track, this appears near the end of the game. This is called Euthanasia Rollercoaster.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, I have never heard of that game, so I have not played it, and yet this music told me a story. Yeah, it's a story. I don't have the word. So much stuff happens here. A lot of melodies always changing. A lot of different sound used, and yeah, it's called Euthanasia Rollercoaster because actually it is a roller coaster. Something I love about game music is that when you write music for games, you have to think of the gameplay first, the player experience. And here at first, I was like, the drums are very loud, so maybe it's for gameplay purpose. Then I started to hear the glitches and all the bugs and the distorted effects, and I was like, okay, so some crazy shit must be happening right now when you are playing at this exact time because of how it was bring to me. I pictured a lot of things while listening to this music, and it's really magical.
It's I actually can't really talk about it. I can't talk about it because it comes at such a moment. It's the Undertale effect, so I don't want to spoil it. But let's just say that the reasoning, what you're feeling, is very accurate. Like in terms of obviously there's a lot going on, but also one of the things that I really admire about this soundtrack, but also this game, is the amount of heart that goes into it, and like the melody that we hear throughout most of that da da ya da pa pa da 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 pa da ba da, without being like too like deep about it. There's a purity that comes with that, and like a willing, like a graceful acceptance of, like, I don't know. And what I find amazing about music, and I'd love to hear actually what you think about melody and stuff. So from my perspective, having been a singer for a decade, like for me, it's all about like interpretation and how like a melody can transcend like where words fail, right? Like you hear a melody and it's like, oh, that's exactly how I was feeling, or I didn't have the words to express how much I don't know, I love my dog or something, you know what I mean? Like music is one of these things that like transcends I was talking with Alex earlier about this, about the idea that music is subtext, but music I also think can go further than that, and music can like say something that words really can't. I've just said that 3 times, but it's like really hard to like, it's one thing to feel it and another thing to like try to explain it, you know what I mean?
Everybody around me is dying. This is what I heard. Yeah, you cannot confirm or deny it because of spoilers, I'm sure, but this is the feeling I had while listening to that track.
With like acceptance, everyone's dying around me and I accept it.
Yeah. At the end, when everything stops and the piano comes back and the gentle melody, it's definitely an acceptance part, yeah.
Yeah, well, I can't confirm or deny. But what's cool is that whether or not you're right or wrong, you created a mental image of that from the basis of the music, which is, you know, just immensely powerful and so satisfying. And I think that's one of the cool things that music, that anybody can do, anybody that's watching or anybody that listens to music. Context is important, and context is like king ultimately when it comes to video games. However, we can also like have these beautiful interpretations without knowing it, and it will always hit harder in context, but a good piece of music can really stand out on its own. You should play Everhood. Seriously, as a musician, I think that you would really
I want to because of that character.
This is basically what this series is basically just me adding to my backlog. Between the Mega Man and now this, like, yeah. Now I want to replay it actually. Literally, it's only 8 hours. Like, you can finish that.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
All right, what's next?
Have you played Xenoblade Chronicles 3?
I played like 10 hours, maybe 20 hours.
Okay, so maybe you have heard that track. It's basically the counter-attack music of
I think I have heard counter-attack. Yeah,
it's from Xenoblade 2, but it's a counter-attack of Xenoblade 3. It's carrying the weight of life.
I've heard that, but I haven't heard it in a while. I just started playing Xenoblade Chronicles 1, just like 2 months ago. I'm playing very slowly over the course of probably the next year. It reminds me a lot of Engage the Enemy.
Yeah, it's the same purpose.
Ah, okay. So every time something terrible happens, this plays. Ah, okay.
Not especially terrible, but something very important.
Like yeah. It requires a certain amount of like whatever to make the main motif like have everything be in unison around it, and to have unison movement over one melodic idea. Like, that takes so much balls to be like, no, this melody's really important. Here's 8 different instruments.
Full stacked.
I really admire that about it, because is it a complex song? Not necessarily, but like the like emotional hit of it is so satisfying because of the like full stack minus the bass. Like, it's so cool. It's such a good piece. Why do you like it so much? Like, why is it one of your favorites?
I think it is a complex song because the structure is really not usual, and a lot of progression happens. There are a lot of instruments. There are so many instruments that I'm always amazed that in the end, over all this stuff going on, the composer added the melody on the flute, and it stands out perfectly.
Oh, the slowdown. Yeah, it's amazing.
No, even at the last chorus, you have the melody played on the flute, and it does a small chorus after that. I especially love the melody and how it sounds overall. I mean, the combo of this melody played on strings with the piano and even the guitar later coming back. I don't know how to put words on it, but it's just that I'm really, really sensitive to this music, especially. And actually, I loved it even before the release of the game, because they used it in a trailer. When I heard the full version in-game, I completely lost it. I was like, oh my god, it's that banger from the trailer. Holy shit, they added some flute and a guitar and stuff. And yeah, it's a crazy, complex and emotional song. And actually, I think we only hear it like 2 or 3 times in the game, and I was a bit sad about that.
Wow, that's crazy, because Engage the Enemy, I feel like
I know
10 minutes, like,
I know.
That's cool though, because I think I know that is a bit sad, but at the same time, I guess it like really does carry the emotional weight of those pieces. Again, is the difference between an earworm and a melody. Like there's a big difference there. To come up with that and to create a soundscape based on that quality of sound, it's just like, it's good stuff, dude. I mean, and this is the thing, like, music that comes out of Japan, like, just, obviously there's amazing music coming out of the West as well, but there's something the melodic focus in so much Japanese music is just...
It's something I talked about with Alex several times. It's really, there is a difference between Japanese composers and Western composers. It's not everyone, but in general, a Japanese composer put the melody on the front of the music. Due to that, you can recognize some melodies pretty easily, whereas in most Western games it's more like ambience music. The melodies are more subtle, and although the soundtracks are amazing, sometimes I can't remember a melody from a game because of that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and actually that's a good segue into my next track. Do you know the game Warframe by chance?
Yeah, but I have not played it. I'm not into FPS in general.
Well, it's third person, so maybe I can convince you.
My backlog is insane, man.
Speaking of Western music with melody front and center, here's an example of one that does it. This is a track called This Is What You Are, and everyone who's watching this is absolutely tired of me playing this because it's absolutely my favorite song. And just to give you a little bit of personal context, when my father was diagnosed with cancer, one of the things that I used to do is I would go to the gym, and this song, I randomly heard it on a gym playlist, and I was like, what is that? And the thing that really blew me away about this piece is that I felt like somehow I was transferring a part of myself to my sick dad. And while that ultimately... wasn't the case. It was very very visceral for me, and I don't know what you'll think, but I'm very happy to share it regardless.
Wow. A lot of stuff going on here. Wow.
Good wow, I hope.
Yeah. This song was like a journey. I was transport. I was like on the top of a mountain, a snowy mountain. I don't know. And the arrow kicked in, and man, I love this instrument.
I know, it's so beautiful.
We should use it more in music in general. It's a cheat code. When you put arrow in music, it immediately sounds good. It's like the choir, you know. Yeah. Lots of different sections with different emotions carried by it. Yeah, I'm curious about what's the context of this song in the game. Is it a boss fight too? You cannot.
No, I can't tell you. It's a secret.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is it's the Shadowbringers rule.
Okay, yeah. I see.
Basically what happens is you play this game. This is so funny because the episode that's going to release before this is me telling Alex the exact same story. Listen, I love Warframe. I've played 150 hours of Warframe. I mean, I love Warframe. Basically, you play like 20, 40 hours of the game, just going from planet to planet, unlocking each junction to get to the next planet and whatever. And then you're like, okay, well, what the hell is going on here? And you make it to Neptune. And Neptune, all of a sudden, you start at Earth, I believe. And then Neptune sort of thrusts the story. And you discover that there's way more going on here than just doing the like looter shooter, getting stuff and going to the next thing. Like what's actually here is this really human, deep story about grief, loss, what the meaning of life is, what our purpose on life is, who we are, who we're meant to be. And it becomes this epic cosmic tale. But it's done so in a way that's very human and very honest and very, I guess, Final Fantasy if you want to go that way. Because, I mean, like, we look at the story of literally the exact same conversation. But the story, like, Final Fantasy IX is one of the most human stories I've ever played, right? And it's like that. But on a cosmic level, like on a sci-fi level. Okay, what's next?
You told me 3 songs in the mail.
I told you 3?
But don't worry, I prepared 5 anyway. It's character select menu theme from Soul Calibur 6.
You brought some really good melodic tracks today. I could listen to that literally again. That's another one, just like the Mega Man one, that I could listen to that for 10 freaking minutes the entire time, no problem.
Same thing, I heard it before they released the game because they used it in all the trailers because this music is just so...
So a couple of different things. I mean, I love that in every fighting game, we inevitably have this wonderful character select screen that we're really only in for, what, 30 seconds. And like, obviously this is a minute long piece, and it just like slays. I mean, like, it's so poetic and so like,
with the really high strings behind.
Yeah, but it's just the descending like arpeggiation, and yet it just like is so. That's really nice.
I love it. I love it for the same things. It's this magic melody with this unique this really special orchestration behind. And it's the Soul Calibur signature move as well. This combination of this specific brass and strings, how to say it, that melody, that when you hear the brass and the strings that way, you recognize Soul Calibur music. It screams it.
I mean, it's amazing that we haven't had a new Soul Calibur. And
really underrated fighting game. I'm not into fighting games in general, but I always loved the Soul Calibur series because of the weapons. I like to battle with a big sword, so I don't usually pick Siegfried or Nightmare, and I just have fun. And it's been 20 years now.
Do you know any music from Ace Combat?
Yeah, I know Zero, and that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's not my favorite piece, but I feel like it's important for you to know.
Okay.
This is a Mimic Rage and Scream from Ace Combat 7.
You know me too well.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, bass is my favorite instrument, and you put a song with slapping bass at the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. My God, crazy prog song. I heard like Saturday Steve Vai, Paul Gilbert, and Dream Theater at once. Holy shit.
There's a whole world for you with Ace Combat. I could just have you on an episode where we only listen to Ace Combat, and it would be, I'm telling you, like, the stuff that you vibe with, it is all in Ace Combat. I'll send you a playlist after this of like 20 tracks that you should just like make videos of, because it's like, it's nuts. Is this hard to play, you think?
Yeah, it is. It is, because the structure of the song is complex, and the note progression is not easy either, and a detail I loved is 2 details I especially loved. Well, 3 details I especially loved. Actually, this song is crazy. First, the intro on the drums, it was like never ending. And I looked at the counter, and it was at like 22 seconds, and it didn't stop, and it was still entertaining. It was not boring at all. And yes, the 5 minutes of this song, as complex as it is, the song was not boring 1 second at all. It was entertaining for the whole duration, and I love, of course, the slap bass, the guitar melodies, and yeah, a small detail is that during the bridge there was only the bass and the drums, and the bass used an octaver, and it's my favorite effect. It's really subtle. But I heard it, and I was like, oh, they did it.
You know, and don't forget, like, you're playing this, like, in the air.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're being, like, that's the crazy thing, is that, like, and one of the things I love about Ace Combat is that, like, this piece, this is, like, this is for a fight, like, a fighter plane game. So, we have one more track each.
My last song is an underrated song from Genshin Impact. It's underrated because it was from a secondary area, from a patch like 2 or 3 years ago, so people don't have anything to do here anymore. It's a battle theme from Enkanomiya.
love that short, long. Oh, it's so nice. I love the virtuosic playing, especially in the violin. And this is it looks like this is a Dimeng Yuan.
Yeah. It's not Chopin Chen, actually.
Man, the melody in here is exceptional because it's like played within a fast rhythm, and it's like so. It's almost like
slow,
like it's not a melody at the same time, you know. Oh, that's so well done. One of the things that I really do appreciate about just music in general is when we swap and trade in voices, and like a voice takes over, and then there's like another voice that comes in, and then there's doubling, and then sometimes they're in counter melody, and that piece has that all over it. It's amazing how this is like an event that no one even probably does anymore. Or can they still go? Well, they can still go to Enkanomiya, but can they still hear this in the game?
Yeah. You just have to fight enemies in the game. There are 2 or 3 battle themes in Enkanomiya, so just have to get lucky to get this one. But yeah,
the fact that like it's so well made and the chances of it being heard are
for me it's the most unique battle theme in the game because of the specific ambience it brings. You really feel that you really are in Enkanomiya, like under the sea, so deep, and I'm really bad to put words on music actually, but I'll just stop here. Yeah. You get my feeling.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, because of the way that it's written, it doesn't feel like your standard battle theme, which so it leaves us with this feeling of like, I don't know, there's obviously a sound of desperation, but there is
you're in the 80s.
In the abyss, but there's also a beauty attached to it because of like what the place is and stuff. 1,000,000%. It's gorgeous. Okay, well, so for my last track, let's do They Might As Well Be Dead from Risk of Rain 2 Survivors of the Void, because I feel like you need to know Chris Christodolo's music.
Wow.
That's Chris Christodoulou.
Oh, a song in 2 parts. The first part is really relaxing, really smooth, really calm, and then the second part kicks in, and it's a wizard. He's a wizard because it's the same melody for 2 minutes straight, and it's not boring at all. He made it really interesting because of the progression of the background instruments and how it turns it around, but it's always the same melody, and still it progresses further and further towards the end. And even in his guitar play style, I play a bit like that too. In the left hand Xenoblade battle and how he makes the net screens, I totally get it. It's really interesting. Banger track, absolute banger.
You're basically speechless.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, there's something about it that's really just like powerful, and it's like so expressive and so emotionally like in the center, and the way that it uses the guitar and also that soundscape in the beginning to then be a launching pad into this really, really, really powerful and expressive thing. It's incredible. And his music reminds me a lot of my dad, because my dad was really into jams like this, like this kind of like,
he's a jam, no, you say it. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, like it almost feels improvised, like it's all like sort of we're making it up as we go, but it's all like from like the soul, and the way that the guitar and electric guitar can really like lean into this like improv thing. Oh man, it's a sound that I miss. My dad was a guitarist and a bass guitar player, and I miss that feeling, that soundscape, hearing that soundscape when he would rehearse his bass guitar playing and stuff. And this just, I don't know, there's just something about it that's very visceral and very like soulful and honest. We just spent like almost 2 hours together. We're like,
really?
Obviously you and I both like love video game music and we love talking about music, but like, what do you think, if anything, you've sort of come away from this like hangout listening to music together? Like what are you taking away, if anything?
I learned a lot because you showed me a lot of music I wasn't even aware of. The way most of these musics were constructed, because as I said earlier, when you write music for a game, you have to think about the player experience first, so gameplay-wise first, and most of the songs you showed me had a really unique approach, like the rhythm game, I forgot its name, Everhood. Yeah, with also the glitchy stuff and the silences and stuff like that. Ace Combat, I really felt like I was in the sky fighting something else. Yeah, all these tracks you showed me made me travel, even if I never played these games. It's something I really love about video game music, is that it can also tell you a story. On top of that, it's full of bangers anyway.
I mean, yeah, at a bare minimum, it's full of bangers. And likewise, I feel like I've always loved melody. Obviously, as a singer, melody is like the thing I like exist with. It's such an important part of the job. But hearing these tracks that some I'd heard, but most importantly, I felt like I really had a renewed sense of understanding and appreciation for like the power of melody and how these composers are essentially creating magic when they create these melodies that are so singable and something that you can latch onto really fast. And the thing about it is that like, whether it's from pieces from 200 years ago or 100 years ago or last week, like all of these pieces, especially when it's melody centric and melody forward, they're just so inviting to, melody like welcomes us in, and it can really like hold us. And I know that you said you're very sensitive to melody, and that makes sense because of, the work that you and I do is about melody first. And obviously rhythm is a key component of that, of course, but you need melody and rhythm. But I feel it's really, really amazing to rediscover melody. And this was fun. And thank you so much for coming up.
Well, thank you for inviting me, because I had really a good time. And yeah, these 2 hours went so quickly.
I know, it flies by. And thank you everybody for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to check out Husky's channel, of course. Absolutely phenomenal musician and composer, and And those of you that know Final Fantasy XIV are already here because you already know him, but there's much more on that channel for sure. So feel free to support him. And thank you for watching this. And yeah, we'll see y'all later.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Take care.